Hi, this is Erik.
And I'm Andrea. Hi.
This is Andrea. Hi. And we are doing, this is going to be our first official video blog together, and we're going to be answering some questions that were sent to us by Mick. Mick sent us a bunch of questions. Hi, Mick.
Hi, Mick.
What is travel in South Korea like? I think travel here, we live in a city, and I think travel here is pretty similar to what it's like in the States in a city. The big difference is that it's clean.
I think it's more efficient too. Pretty much, and also less confusing. Like even someone who speaks the same language, I go to New York City and I'm not exactly sure which direction I'm supposed to be going in at one point on the subway. Here, it's very clear at all bus stops, on the subway. Even though it's written in another language, I can still tell, oh, this is the right direction I'm supposed to be going in, and the stop coming up is one I need to be going to. I think it's much less confusing than it is in the U.S.
Yeah.
And pretty much always on time.
Yes, which is a big one too. Always on time. Monstrously cleaner. Like the cabs are fine, the buses are clean, the subways are really clean.
They're immaculate.
Yeah, because that's the problem. Excuse me, with public transportation in the U.S. is that a lot of people don't want to take it because it's just not very well taken care of. But here, it's very well taken care of, and
Plus, you
it's
kind
a
of
good
have
option.
to take it. I mean, there's more people taking public transportation than own vehicles.
Yeah.
Which is good because I drive crazy here.
Yeah. Plus, why does everybody need a car? That's a different topic for another day. They also have bikes. Biking is big around here, and I do believe you can rent bikes, right?
Yeah, kind of like the thing that's big in the cities now, like in New York. There's like the bikes you can rent everywhere, and that's been here for a while. And you have like your section of sidewalk, and there's like sometimes they combine the walking and biking in one lane, but there's usually like a separate place for biking and a separate place for walking. That you still need to watch out though, because they'll bike wherever.
They will, yeah.
Scooters on the sidewalk.
Scooters is what I was going to mention too. You know how like every movie you've seen that takes place in like they have like the Chinese mafia or whatever, and they ride their motorcycles on the sidewalk in the movie, and you're like, whoa, I can't believe they're doing that. They must be really bad. It's because it's legal, at least here.
Well, I don't know if it's legal. It's
Everybody does it, yeah. Like you'll just walk down the sidewalk and people will. Yeah, motorcycles don't have any laws here. They ride them like you would ride bicycles in the U.S. They just kind of go up on sidewalks and
they probably
weave
have
around traffic.
laws. Same thing
Well, they
with the
don't obey 'em.
traffic here. I think any sort of traffic rule or law is just a suggestion. So, as a pedestrian, you definitely do not ever think you have the right of way. You have to just watch out, especially for the
Yeah.
cab drivers.
It's sort of like the opposite, because like in the U.S., the traffic laws are very heavily enforced, and the walking laws are not. But here, the traffic
Watch
laws.
out, you can get caught for jaywalking.
Yes, it's happened twice now. Where once we were together, once I was by myself, where I was approached for jaywalking, and they were very nice, and they didn't ticket me or anything, but they told me to not jaywalk and not walk when I don't have the right of way and all those other things. It's a little odd. But I don't know about you, but I still feel safe, like in the cabs and the buses and the driving. I haven't seen anything to make me feel unsafe about the traffic here, but it is different. It's a little jarring at first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also because we live in sort of a city area, we walk a lot of places too. Everything's close, just like it would be, if you lived in a city. What's it like communicating as a foreigner? Yeah, most people here speak English to varying degrees, and those that can't, you can usually, tell them what you want via grunting and pointing, body language like that.
Might be why you have a hard time.
Maybe.
I just think it really depends on the person. Like even when I went to the hardware store in our neighborhood one time, the man there speaks no English. We were just able to, like, by looking up like little things on my phone and just gestures, and showing him what I needed to get a PVC pipe. It like took a few tries. He was showing me different things like, oh no, Anio. But we finally found it. Me not being able to tell him what I needed in Korean, him not being able to speak English. As long as you have the patience, on both ends, you can usually figure it out. So, there's lots of pictures. Sometimes cab drivers don't want to pick you up if you're a foreigner just because they might not want to
Yeah.
deal with the headache of trying to figure out where you want to go. Even if you are very clear, you know where you want to go. You can say it in Hangul. They are going to know where it is. Sometimes they just don't want to bother picking you up. Even when I was brand new and I had to take a cab home, live in this area called Manyandong, and I live close to a middle school, and the word for that is Chunhakyo. So I remembered Manyandong, but I forgot the word for middle school, so I was just flubbering around, and I said, Manyangdong, and like most areas of the city, they're kind of spread out. So he's like, Manyandong, where? Where in Manyandong? Um, so I had to. Most cab drivers will know if you say Manyandong which area it is because a lot of foreigners are there in my area. But he was just, acting like he didn't know. So finally I pulled up Google Maps on my phone and zoomed in on the area. And I was like, here, Yogi, here. So just, trial and error, you can pretty much figure out how to communicate what you need.
One other funny story was there's a coffee shop on the corner, and I went there one day for coffee, and I didn't want to get another paper cup, and lid and all that. So I brought a ceramic cup with me, and I went in. And there's a younger guy at the counter, and I said, one Americano, and I gave him my cup. He makes the Americano. He puts it in a paper cup, puts the plastic lid on it, and then takes that cup and puts it inside the ceramic cup, and then hands it to me. So, yeah, sometimes there's a failure to communicate, but it's not that bad. What's the food like? Which actually I don't think is from Mick, but we'll answer that anyways. What is the food like?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's it takes a little while getting used to the fact that if you're like us back home, we were used to eating like, more meat, protein, and vegetables.
Yeah.
Here it's like it's a totally different spectrum. It's like mainly rice-based diet. There's rice in everything. Rice and kimchi, basically. And what they call vegetables are little sides, or what is it, banchan, or I think that's what they're called. I don't consider that vegetables. I consider that like garnishes or accoutrement. So I'm like this is totally different than how I'm used to eating. So the closest thing that I can come to like getting satisfied on Korean food is like when we go to the barbecue restaurant and you're there like grilling your own meat.
That's my favorite place to go. It's really good, yeah.
But still, I mean, you have meat and you have like your little vegetables, which is really some bean sprouts and some kimchi and garlic.
I like it, but I like rice and sides. I really like the Korean barbecue. I like the kimbap quite a bit. All the food here, I did find out that I don't really like fish that much. Thought maybe I like fish, but apparently I don't. And also something that I think is sort of curious is that I don't get as sick here as I do in the States, which I think is curious. Like we will go somewhere like they have McDonald's here, and usually when I eat at McDonald's, I don't feel very good afterwards. But here I'm fine, which I think is very strange. And they have processed food and things here too, but I just don't find myself getting my stomach getting quite as upset as it does in the States. So don't know what I'll let you draw your own conclusions about that.
I mean, I felt the same way when I visited Seoul a few years ago. I visited a friend over here, and I remember eating like everything under the sun, Korean food and Western food, and nothing made me sick. Like I think we went to Krispy Kreme, and usually back at home, one bite of a donut will make me sick for hours, but here is like nothing. So
I did the same thing. Yeah, I had a donut from was it Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme? I don't remember, but yeah, nothing here. The Korean food hasn't made me sick, and the Western food I've had hasn't made me sick either. And I don't. It's creepy.